Get a sip of my tasty beverage. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Representing Jason Blaha, Strength and Fitness. Thought I would do a quick live for you guys. I don't know that I want to run this one real long today. Just going to see what happened with it. I'll try to keep it lively, keep it fun, keep it entertaining. One of those moods today. But I'm not going to put up with bullshit. Right? We're not going to put up with it. But I will entertain your interesting questions. I can help you guys and gals out. So, let's get this party started. Bust me out some questions. Best Nirvana album, never mind. Would you ever date again? I don't discuss my private life on the internet anymore. Running every day for cardio, 20 to 30 minutes, will it hurt my strength or hypertrophy? No, not if you're adapted to it. Now, if you haven't been running at all and you jump straight into 30 minutes, you may have a few weeks to adapt and it may hurt your gains during that time. Hey, Coach. Hey, Lars. Oh, best Soundgarden album then. I'm going to go with, is it Bad Motorfinger? Is that the name of the album? All right. Feel like I'm stuck at intermediate level in the car. How do I get better, man? You just got to, you know what, dude? You know what? Why don't you go check out that Marty's music? For intermediate level guitars, he's got some fantastic stuff. It's here on YouTube. Guy's got a big channel. It's a real chill vibe. I like the dude overall. Pull-ups for back development, yes. Have you met Dorian Yates? Yes, I have. Radish says, happy Saturday to you. Radish, happy Saturday. Best time to take a girl on a date? Morning, early evening, or late night? First date, probably early evening. Mornings, in my opinion, someone you know a little bit. Right? Some you already know. Now, if they're already a friend, invite them out to brunch, man. No big deal. Best Smashing Pumpkins album. That one's harder. Man, their first album was good, though. Right? And I can't remember the name of it. When they first came out, their first album was actually really good. Right? What did Dorian Yates say to you? He winked at me, and I'm serious. When I said, it's Dorian Yates, and he winked, whatever, man. It was actually at Body Power in the UK at the expo. Hello, Jason, but I bumped into him not at anything. It was like heading to the bathroom. Hello, Jason. What do you think? What is better for back development, dead stop seal row or normal seal row without dead stop? I don't think one is better than the other. How big is Dorian these days? Even back then, nowhere near my size. He was not, he looked like he was at that point down to about a novice level lifter. I had been in the gym about a year. You met Kai Green. What did you talk about? I didn't talk to him. But I can tell you Kai Green is about 5'4". Good movements to build back without loading the spine. Well, you're not going to be able to. Oh, well, we can do the lower back. I'm staying corrected because reverse hypers can still work your erectors without loading the spine. But building the back without loading the spine, one-arm dumbbell rows, any sort of chest-supported rows, seal rows, pull-ups. Did he compliment you at all? No. Do you think he watched your channel? No idea. My channel was popular back then. I didn't actually have many haters yet. All right. We got a bunch of little back-to-back questions. Knocking them out, knocking them down the road. Then you guys all stopped. He's into psychedelics these days. Oh, Dorian, yeah, I've heard that. Do pullovers count as chest volume? If so, 3 sets of bench, 2 sets of incline, 2 sets of pullovers. I would count that as 7 sets, Marco. If They're good quality reps on the pullovers. Thoughts on chest expanders? I'm not a believer. I know Jamie talked about it in the blogs or in the podcast. Keep in mind, I don't necessarily always agree with everything. I let people have their different viewpoints because they're my guests. In this case, they're pretty much co-hosts. I'm not a believer in it. It's my opinion. What's the difference between YouTube now and YouTube back when you started? I don't know what YouTube is like now. I haven't followed the community very much. It was a much smaller community where everyone talked to each other back then, though. We know carnivore diets are incomplete. That's it. That's all we need to know. Why are there a small amount of ordinary people reporting an end to their autoimmune issues from all beef diets? I have no idea why they're reporting that, Mike, but I can tell you the health problems they're going to suffer if they do it long term. It's going to be a problem. And they can't stick it out because you start developing problems. It's like a Band-Aid fix, right? And then the side effects of the diet catch up. And you have a whole bunch of problems. Do you play bass or want to play bass? I know how to play the bass. I'm not interested in playing bass. Darko, I know that you're a paying member, but are you trying to get me to ban you? Is that the intended goal of that question? Darko, I'm being honest. Is that the intended desired result of asking me something as silly as, am I going to become a vegan? Because I can't visualize any other desired result of that question. No, one of my best bros plays bass, though. In fact, we went bass shopping together a month or so ago. I think it's because they might be allergic and intolerant to certain foods. So by eliminating those, I mean, there's a lot of things. But the fact of the matter is the diet is going to have major side effects down the road. Largely gut flora extinction, which is not easy to correct. And there's no 100% guaranteed way to correct it. I didn't know anything about the UFC, so I can't answer that one. What does the bass always get drowned out? Because it's a support instrument, right? And that's why. And that's okay. I mean, barring a few really famous bass players who've made it a more central part, it's a support instrument. It's essential for good music, though. No, keep that in mind. Just because it's drowned out doesn't mean you can get by without it. It's just that it's more of in the background. And a lot of times when you're hearing guitar stuff hitting harder, it's actually because the bass is playing along with it. Hey, Jason, haven't been here in a bit. Your stance on quad extension machines changes, or are they still seen as bad? I don't necessarily think they're bad for the knees. I don't think they're particularly great, though. If research came out suggesting vegan diet, but exquisite, how could that possibly work? How could that possibly work? And it would seem that would be an insane piece of research. Like no one would even take it seriously. Do you see what I mean? But it's an absurd theoretical. Removing animal products will cause more muscle growth. I mean, you don't even have a potential pathway to explain this. I would need a lot more than a little research to convince me of that. Flee from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Notice I knew what your acronym stood for. Best bass player ever. I don't know that he's the best, but he's good, right? I don't think anybody would listen to Flea play and not say, dude, that dude's a hell of a bassist, right? Hey, Jason, what's up? I hope you're having a great weekend. I'm having a pretty good weekend. Guy there, Lars, saying he forgot to take his TRT due to negligence and felt terrible. Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. Ken Obuti now claiming that intermittent fasting will cure teen acne. There's no research or evidence to suggest that that's the case. Therefore, once again, he's full of shit. And I hope he's not saying something as ludicrous as intermittent fasting will cure acne. I mean, technically, depending upon where he lives, he could get in legal trouble for making that statement. At the very least, some of these platforms should slap him for medical misinformation with a strike. The bare minimum. But I think there's a potential lawsuit there. Let's just say it did. No, Les Claypool. There we go, Malik. Les Claypool from Primus. Now that dude can play the bass. For the unaware, you can check it out on YouTube. Check out some of his bass solos, like his one from Tommy the Cat. People think I'm not a music aficionado. Yeah, Les Claypool's up there. But yeah, Tommy the Cat solos. Fucking amazing. Amazing. Like, if you guys have not heard him, you have never heard a bass played like that before, I promise you. Just check it out. How do you keep up with all the latest research? You can only keep up with so much. Is a vegetarian diet? No. Is it more efficient? Why do you care about efficient? Why don't you care about being optimal? Sandbag loading can build upper back, maybe, but normal weight training does a better job. I think sandbag carries over legit conditioning work, though. If Ken Obuti actually said that, then I hope somebody sues him. If he is promoting it as a medical cure, that sounds like a lawsuit ready to happen. Jason, is it true that an individual needs 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight? No. Have you been to any concerts recently? No. I have heard some live music, but not concerts. I'm looking at Rogue Place. We only have the budget for the Steeler bumpers. What would you pick? Get them Steel. ZZ Top is on tour. Don't miss out. You guys know I love ZZ Top. Love ZZ Top. One of my all-time favorite bands. Darko, I don't know what RSDs are, but I appreciate the donation. What's good tips to help you learn the guitar? Scales. All right, learn scales. Learn exercises based upon your scales. There you go, right here, bro. Here, snapshot this, Darko. Snapshot this for later. That'll help you. Thoughts on diet soda and artificial sweeteners? They're great. Hello, Jason. How you do? I'm doing good, Joe Cole. Thank you for asking. Mr. Gaines says, what's happening, Jason? What's happening with you, Mr. Gaines? Would you get in the mosh? Dude, I'm too old to be getting in the mosh pit. The strumming of Johnny Ramone recipes was legendary. Down strumming for the win. Is there research that excess seed oils can lead to facial acne? No. Jason, can you explain again why your bench is weaker than your close grip? It just always has been. I've had to work really hard to get even that pinkies on the rings up to where you guys saw me repping 335. And every time I go wider, I get weaker. And I'm way out now. I'm like one of these 2 fingers on the rings at this point. But it is giving me a lot of chest stretch. And I probably might end up just close gripping if I have to do another meet again. But then, whenever I do the next meet, I may just close grip it because I'll probably be stronger. And I mean close grip, 16 inches. How do you rate Keith Richards? Ancient. What amount of protein do you recommend for muscle growth? Minimum 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight, but there are metabolic benefits and recomp benefits to overfeeding. When was your last cheat day? Been over 2 weeks. I don't want any. I'm really trying to lean out further. I'm kind of being careful with cheat days. Do you miss Jerry Ward and his chocolate chip cookie? Man, I don't know about how I want to answer that, honestly. There's a point where I think sometimes, man, let the dead rest in peace. Someone who had acne during the teen years is a lot more likely to have acne using special supplements, probably. I mean, you would think, Darko. I don't know that there's direct evidence, but that's a reasonable hypothesis. Hey, Jason, any tips on how to program for strength training after the novice phase conjugate? Do you still do some sort of concurrent training? Do heavy and light in the same days at the bare minimum. Malik says he changed. Have I changed the radiator? Malik, you know that I have rebuilt engines and taken engines out of cars. So therefore, I've obviously had to change some radiators. Hey, brother, my shoulder still seems to be healed, but still slight little pain on the left side. Well, keep working on it. Actually love these live streams. Keep it up. Jason, hope you're well. I've worked overnight at a gym the last several years, and I've had a lot of U2A colleges ask me how to put on size, and I've told them you're 5x5. I appreciate it, brother. Send them over, man. There's a whole write-up on muscle and strength, by the way. You think it's a good idea to add some extra accessories for novice running, starting strength, for example, dumbbell? Probably, it wouldn't be a bad idea, honestly, to add a little bit of fluff work to it. Jason, I feel like your stance that acne is caused by poor hygiene is anti-thesis, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'll have to investigate. Again, I don't claim to be a dermatologist. I'm just giving you guys my perspective because of guys on gear. Do you think dressing to look the part when playing guitar helps you put in the mood and perform better? Miko, I think so. I put the hat on for a reason. That's part of it. When you say heavy and light on some days, would that be sets of 1 and 5 plus sets of 5 to 10? Yeah, Dan, that's totally reasonable. Hear from Will Tennyson. No, he reached out to me one time and never again about some possible coaching, and then that didn't get back with me. Do you ever go to guitar shops and buy stuff you don't need? It feels like Oh, I remember looking at like that glass slide sitting right there with a pinky that I've still never used. Mike, he might have been. I thought he said live streams. I didn't know he said live. I can't even scroll back up to find it. I'm not worried about it. Is Mad Cow 505 still decent? I don't know about that. I think it's dated. What do you think is better for self-defense, a 500-pound squat or Glock Fu? I'm going to have to say probably Glock Fu. Does Romanian deadlift have a place when I also do good mornings? I would probably alternate. Very rarely would I combine the same in the same workout. It's just so much overlap. Best Nirvana riffs. To be honest, Kurt Cobain was not noted for his guitar skills. And I like Nirvana, by the way. Hey, coach, do you deload when cutting? Probably not. When do you think the RDL is more appropriate to program for the good morning? When you don't want a barbell up on your back. Can you shred for us? No, I don't want to shred for you guys. I'll record some stuff next week, though. I'll record some more stuff next week. Can you explain the difference between conditioning and cardio? Which is better? Conditioning is more of resistance-based, really high-intensity type cardio, whereas in cardio is a broad range. I honestly think if you're trying to optimize health, Kelly, I think a combination of the two would be good. Has Chris Jones ever invited you to the cookout? No, he's never invited me to the cookout. He's always given me an open invitation to come train at his gym and let him hit him up. He's never invited me to the cookout. Maybe someone should tell Chris he needs to invite me to the cookout. You know? Now that would be, how cool would that be? Meet Blaha to show up at a Chris Jones cookout. People would pay to see that. Do you prefer Google or Microsoft for Word, Excel? I used Open Office for years and years and years. Why are you so, Pat? Please let me know. Pat? What do you mean, Pat? I'm not fat. I got visible, and I'm cutting right now on top of it. I'm the leanest you guys have seen me in years. What are you guys talking about? No, it's just some outdated old school programming. I just think there's better ways to approach stuff. Thoughts on the first Audio Slave album? Honestly, I've never really listened to Audio Slave, to be honest. Coach, do you follow a static stretch routine? Nope. Since you're self-employed, how do you manage vacation time? I work year, dude. Even when I've traveled, man, I'm working off my phone and take a laptop with me. Why do AC/DC songs sound the same? Because they're all based off of the E minor pentatonic. And Angus Young likes to use that same open G chord all the time. And I love AC/DC, right? But the thing is, if you can play one big AC/DC hit, you can learn any of them, right? There's a lot of similarities, right? I mean, you take Shoot to Thrill, take Back in Black, Highway to Hell, right? Any of those. The chord overlap between them is very, very high. I mean, and even that little riff on Back in Black, right? That he runs that little flurry of notes is just an open E pentatonic, E minor pentatonic. All it is. But it sounds good though. Have you incorporated other mobility exercises? Well, pause squats, deep pause squats. Mr. Gaines, I don't know why you guys say that. Like, true story. I don't personally know anyone, to my knowledge, who has ever had Section 8 housing. Just telling you how it is. I've never had it. I don't even know the process, and I don't know anyone personally who's ever admitted to using it. So it's such a weird attack at somebody. The research is conclusive. Jason enjoys music questions more than lifting questions. Oh, that might be possible. What's it like not having a boss or manager? There are pros and cons, man, to self-employment. Do you know how to play any songs from Power Age? No, I don't even know Power Age. Do you ever leave the U.S. again? I'm probably not planning on leaving the U.S. Can you play Thunderstruck? Actually, yeah, I can totally do the whole intro sequence. Because it's just a bunch of open notes, like two notes back and forth with opens, right? On this two, then you jump down one fret, and then it's do 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 do, and it's all just off of a pentatonic. But every other note is an open note. It's actually not as hard as you think. You just have to have good coordination. Jason, at which public spaces do you get groped? I haven't been groped in a while. Bars, power lifter. Like where people are drinking is where you're going to get groped as a lifter. Places where people are drinking. Top YouTube guitar channels. Definitely Marty's Music. There's a few other small ones I like. I don't know all the names though. I just have a bunch of them saved. Weird how athletes who don't know how to lift properly, like Clara Fernandez, looks so dang good. I don't know. I haven't seen her lift. Oh, Power Age, AC/DC. Is that one of their album names? I go by their individual songs at this point. I don't even keep up with the albums. You don't want to go to Paris to see the Eiffel Tower? No. Would you mind giving me a quick example of a conditioning cardio routine for a week? I'm not going to break out a full routine in a live, dude. Doing a money spread. Joel, you see more than that in my videos, so just buy. Literally in my videos, you guys have seen over $30,000, 40 grand in assets. It's fucking silliness. PD usage is usually accepted in the UK. Every second gym rat is on gear. Would you be surprised? Even if they have poor physique. I've lived in the UK. I already know that's what it's like. Miko, it's not a set thing. It's like with anything else in life. Why would you have a set reaction to something strange like that? Do you have one specific reaction? Or would you base it upon what is going on in the time and place and who's doing it? Do you like candles for the ladies? I don't understand your question. You could live a digital nomad life easily coaching. And true, I could, except at the home gym thing. That's not really that portable. All right. PD still isn't accepted by the mainstream. Yeah, it's inaccurate. He's talking about in the UK, though. In the UK as a country, though, it's pretty ubiquitous. Has John Bravo ever, Radish, why don't you ask John Bravo that question? I just think it's funny that you asked me if someone's ever reached out to me who I have probably, over the course of my lifetime, spent 20 or 30 hours talking to in voice chat, like over a phone, stuff like that. It's kind of funny. We haven't caught up in a few years though. But John Bravo and I used to talk regularly. So it just seems kind of funny to me. Thoughts on Reddish? I guess most people wouldn't know that. It wasn't common knowledge. But I think if you were to ask John about that, he'd say, "Yeah, dude, we used to talk a lot." Thoughts. XM, what a weird question. What do you mean thoughts on? You're asking what are my thoughts on an entire enormous group of women who make up billions of people? I think that it's a demographic that represents billions of human beings. That's my thought. I mean, what a weird question. Sorry. I don't think it's normal for a male to grope another male. Miko, when they're drinking, you'd be surprised. People are saying it was Dusa that took down John's Insta. I don't know. Any advice? I'd recommend you don't really approach girls at the gym. Let them train. They're there to work out. They're not there for you to hit on. In fact, it's one of the most difficult places to approach women for that reason. Like your success rate is very, very, very low. So here's what I would always advise to guys when they ask that. If you are not skilled at picking up women everywhere you go, like if you're not one of those guys who just gets phone numbers every time he leaves the house to go get gas, to go buy groceries, if you're not that guy, don't even bother. You're going to get shot down. Thoughts on Robert Pattinson refusing to take gear for the Batman? How do you know he refused? Jason, what is a radiator? You know, we're talking in a car. A radiator is the liquid cooling system for water-cooled engines. Okay, it's a device that has usually aluminum fins. That usually has a fan of some type, whether it's belt-driven or a separate electric fan, that sucks air through the cooling fins, and the water from the engine is circulated through that with a pump, and it cools the water. That is what a radiator is. Okay. Would you approach women dirty? It's hard to tell someone's age. Generally not. Generally not. It's different, I suppose, if they were to hit on me. I'm not going to go out and hit on girls in their 20s. Just, mainly because it's probably not appropriate at my age to actively pursue 25-year-olds. Hey, Jason, I'm the sassy man. What a weirdo. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get rid of that weirdo. Girl approached me. Sorry, it got buried. To help her rack the weights. Is it a green light for me to hit on her? Nope. She mainly just thought you were big and strong and wanted help racking the weights. I'm not saying it couldn't have been, but I wouldn't read into that too much. Did you ever audition for the WWE? No. Is decline bench good for chest? Yeah, I think it's good exercise. I don't think there's anything wrong with decline bench. Is training volume not as important as people think? I guess it depends on what people think. It's important. What would you say is the best shoulder exercise? There is no best exercise. If a 30-year-old is handsome and in shape, financially stable, with 20-year-old girls like him, they might. He's got a good chance. But, why do you guys think? Here's the problem you guys have with this nonsense. Every woman doesn't have the same personality and mindset. Okay? It's going to be hard for some of you guys to grasp, but they're individual human beings. Mike, that is really how a lot of guys take it. They don't understand that a woman can do or say something without being sexually interested in you. I'm just saying, guys. There's a lot of ways to tell, but complimenting your shirt's not necessarily one of them. Can we get a bicep? No, not really. I don't feel like giving you blah, blah, blah. Let's get to some real questions. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Lars, you got a good point. He says 20-year-olds are horrible in the bedroom. Give me a mature woman any day that knows what they're doing. I'm going to have to agree. Have women flat out rejected your advance? It's not easy to deal with rejection, and most guys don't even try. Well, Miko, you get over it. I have totally asked a girl out before, and then she told me she had a boyfriend. You know what? That's it. Like, oh, okay, no problem. Now, does that necessarily mean she did? No. But that's a good way that women will use, if they're not interested. And that's okay. You accept that. You move on. Life goes on, guys. And that's the thing. That's why these kids are afraid to approach women, is this fear of rejection. All that. Look, man, it's not a big deal. Can some body parts handle more volume to others, and does this correlate to weak points? It took me a lot of volume on chins curls to bring up my biceps. No, I don't think it's always necessarily indicative of a weak point. Right? How common do you think steroids are in the UK? Read what the guy said about the studies. I've lived there, dude. They're everywhere. everywhere when I lived there. I'm thinking of walking 1,200 to 1,500 steps per day. That's a lot. Keeping my diet the same, maintenance calories. Um, I don't think it'll interfere at all. Right? I don't think it'll interfere at all. In fact, it'll probably help you lose some body fat. If you're at maintenance now and you go add a very high step count, you'll probably start leaning out. And as long as protein is kept high and your fatigue management's good and you don't lose weight too quickly, it shouldn't interfere much, if at all. It'll be fine. Perfectly viable strategy. Is it better to do barbell rows super strict or some cheating inevitable at some point? 6 one way, half a dozen the other. Thoughts on illegal wide bench? I program it sometimes for my lifters who have certain weaknesses. Just be careful with it, right? Just be careful with it. Powerlifters. Yeah. No, bro. We natural lifters now, man. Power lifter. Okay. My new motto. Natural lifters lifting natural weights naturally. Got a ring to it. Oh, man bun. I don't know what to think of the whole man bun thing. I don't get it, but it could be my age showing. Thoughts, Jason, on the topic of benching 4 times a day? I don't think you should bench 4 times a week, let alone 4 times a day. I think it shoots your shoulders up to do that. Thoughts on Sam Salute saying lat pull downs and cable rows are bread and butter for mid and low back outside of barbell rows? I mean, I don't think they're bad choices. Can you trust anyone's? Most of the guys online, what I found from the younger generation, tend to add about 2 or 3 inches. Okay. Now my bench is down because of what I'm doing different, doing it with no wrist wraps, flat back, the really wide grip, you know. Steve Shaw looks bigger than you, but claimed it. Does he look bigger than me? I don't see what he looks like. What's he weighing? What's his height and weight right now? I haven't seen him in years. How many steps do you get in a day? I don't know. I have no idea. All right. BK, I've done long videos on that. I've got some stuff I need to handle, though, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wind this one down. Radish, yes, your comments are showing up. Just letting you know since you're a regular in here. So, you're asking about NHs, right? NH wouldn't know how to train his way out of a wet paper bag. Guy made his whole reputation and whole outreach talking about me. All of it. If I didn't exist, that guy wouldn't even have 20,000 followers. All right, guys, but it's time for me to wind this down. I hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals. And I will talk to you guys next time.